Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. My guest today is an actor and they are a Waterloo Road legend. They've appeared in 74 episodes and unfortunately they got hit by a truck which ended their time on the show. Today Reece Douglas, who played Denzil Kelly on Waterloo Road, will be joining me and he's going to tell us more about himself and more about his career.
Hi everyone, my name is Reece Douglas. I'm an actor based in Cheshire, Manchester, best known for playing the part of Denzil Kelly in Waterloo Road. Since then I've gone on to other series for the likes of Doctors, Casualty, The Bay, Moving On, and most recently just landed a new feature film called Spiceland.
That all sounds fantastic, Reece, and first of all, thank you so much for coming on my channel. I really appreciate it. So today I've got some questions based on your acting career. And my first question for you is, when did you first get into the acting world?
So I first got into acting when I was in year 7 in high school. It was pure luck. I went for a school audition. It was through drama. I wasn't really academic at school. I was always into drama. I was always into acting the goat, playing the class clown. And the drama teacher picked up on it. He thought he'd seen something special in me. And it was just by chance that this audition came along, Waterloo Road, obviously. And they were looking for a new family going by the name of the Kelly family. And this drama teacher, Richard Bailey from Bromwell High, he was really friendly with the casting director and said, "Hey, I've got a student here who's a little shit. We think he'll be great for the part. Do you fancy coming in school and seeing him?" So went through the audition, must have been about 4 or 5 auditions, and then the next thing you know, I'm Denzil Kelly.
Oh, fantastic. And like you were saying about the audition, it just sounds like Waterloo Road was such a fantastic experience. My next question is about the audition. So can you tell me what exactly it was like, what it was like being there, how you felt when you were at the audition? What was that overall experience like for you?
It was a strange experience. I can remember it as clear as day, given how long ago it was now. You know, you're talking 13 years, I think, almost. It was almost like a drama rehearsal. So to give you a bit of an idea of what this was like, I'd got the script a few days before. I'd learnt the script. I made sure I was off book, and that's one thing the drama teacher always said: just make sure that if you're doing any form of audition, that you are off book. And what off book means is that you know the lines backwards and frontwards without having to look at them. It shows that you've obviously done your knowledge of the script, you understand your character, and you care about it. If you show up to an audition, you haven't really learnt your lines, it gives the impression you don't really care. So first and foremost, just make sure that you've got your lines off the book. So I got my lines off the book, and we're all queuing up outside, because bear in mind, this wasn't just me going for the audition. The drama teacher had to give everybody the opportunity, so everyone got the fair chance of seeing this casting director that was part of our acting class. So she called my name, and you can imagine how anxious I was. I opened up the drama door. It's this big black door, and it enters what looks like a gymnasium, and it was just big and airy, but it felt so intense at the time because it was just her and the camera. I'd never seen a camera or had this opportunity before. There was just a dot in front of the camera about 3 meters away, and she just said, "Stand on the dot." So I was just like, oh my God. And then I put the script down straight away. I didn't want to get in the habit or even think to look at the script, so I just made sure straight away that I put the script down, because I knew the script, although I was playing it in my head so much because I was so anxious. And basically what the scene was one of the most intense scenes that I did in the show, and it was the scene with the gun, when obviously Earl gave me the gun, and I had to basically run around school and hide somewhere, because I knew that the SWAT team were coming in to find me, because they knew there was a student on the loose. She wanted me to react that in that room, so I simply, as much as I possibly could, reenact that moment. And I remember it, as I said, as clear as day. I put my heart and soul into it, and I think I got a great feeling just after that first audition that I'd done something good, because she was really pleased with it. And I think I used my nerves to give me the energy that scene needed. So I didn't let that energy or that anxiety work against me. I actually worked with it. And I do suggest that for yourself, if you can possibly do that as an actor.
Oh, fantastic. It sounds like the audition process it sounded like it went really well for you, which is great. And it's always interesting to hear what they do in it, 'cause like you were mentioning, like you had to do the gun scene, so we would never have known that you had to do that scene. And that was definitely an iconic scene in the show, definitely was. That was the first episode you were in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, talk about getting thrown in the deep end, right? Hey, here's your first day on set. Here's a gun. Here's a guy that's going to teach you how to use that gun. We're going to send a SWAT team in a minute, and they're going to come and find you. And by the way, they've got real fake guns as well. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, as I said, I used that anxiety and I used that fear to drive me throughout that scene and that part. And I felt so much confident after it, because, you know, if you can put yourself in as much uncomfortable situations as possible, the more you become immune to it, the more it'll help you grow. And it really set me forward in that show, because I knew if I could conquer this on my first week, then I'm ready for anything you guys can throw at me.
Oh, fantastic, and it does sound like it was really great, and thank you for sharing it. So my next question is actually from one of your fans, Ellie, and she was just wondering, what is the first thing you're going to do out of lockdown?
Ellie who?
Ellie Bradford.
Ellie Bradford. I was thinking, is this my girlfriend asking you questions?
I don't think so.
No, she's called Ellie. No, she's not. It's not Ellie Bradford. What's the first thing I'm going to do after lockdown? That's a great question. For me, I'm really focused on work at the minute. You know, I'm always conscious of my age, although age doesn't matter. And I've got so much going on in terms of Social Plug, which is my influencer marketing platform that matches brands and influencers. So much of that's going on. I'm in talks with investors at the minute about how we're going to structure that, how we're going to build the platform, how we're going to bring it to market in May time. So there's just so much for me to consider at the minute. So after lockdown, although I will not be doing what ordinary people are doing, you know, going out partying and stuff like that, I'll be more focused on working and making use of opportunities, and most of all, making sure that these meetings are no longer on Zoom but actually in person, because I'm really missing that.
Yeah, definitely, and it sounds like you've kind of got it all planned out, which is fantastic. So, Reece, do you have any advice to people who want to get into acting? I know you mentioned it about auditions, but do you have any advice to people who want to start getting into the industry?
Okay, so if you're sat at home right now and you're watching this and you're thinking, I want to be an actor, where do I start? What do I do? There is not one answer that I can give you that says, hey, if you just follow those simple steps, you're going to be on TV. Because as much as it takes hard work and perseverance, it takes a hell of a lot of luck. You can be the best actor in the world, but unless that opportunity audition comes along for you to show or showcase yourself in that room, that audition room, you're never going to get seen. So the only way that I can give my advice to you is put yourself in as many social situations as you possibly can. Go and see casting directors, go and get your name out there, speak to as many agents as you possibly can. But first and foremost, you've got to put the work in. So what do I mean by putting the work in? Well, it's all about, as an actor, getting yourself on camera. Everybody wants to see what characters you can play. So the first thing is, have a word with yourself. Think, what type of characters can I see myself playing? You know, for example, if you are, you know, you will know in yourself, I can play the bad guy, I can play the good guy, I can play the geek, I can play the bully, whichever one that may be. Start with your most powerful, you think the easiest role is that you could play. Not necessarily the easiest, but most comfortable. And then go and find small projects that you can work on that align with that character you want to play. So for example, you've got websites like Mandy, you've got websites like Star Now, you've got websites like Casting Call Pro. I suggest you write these down. There's so many uni opportunities on here where, yes, you may have to go through the audition process, but in some facts you don't. These are just uni students that are looking for people like yourself that are beginners to work on these roles. You may not necessarily get paid, but what you will get paid in is footage. And if you can build that footage up and make a show reel, is what they call it. A show reel of, let's say, 3 different shows you've been in, maybe playing the same character. But if you can actually have a show reel that shows 3 of your strongest characters, that tells an agent 3 of the types of characters they can put you forward for. And it shows an agent exactly what you're capable of. So if you can build that show reel, you can approach an agent with that and say, hey, this is what I'm capable of. And not only does it show what you're capable of, it shows that you've persevered and you've got off your backside and you've gone and done something. And when you've got that agent, that's when they'll start to send you for real auditions. I'm talking Corrie, I'm talking big films, I'm talking whatever type of auditions you've dreamt of, you'll get forward for and you'll get those opportunities. So it's all about putting the work in first. So, you know, I wish there was one answer I could just say to you, follow these steps, you're going to be, you know, on TV. It's not the case. It takes a hell of a lot of work, it takes a hell of a lot of perseverance, and it takes an element of luck. But that's the best thing I can tell you to get started.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your advice. I think people can definitely learn something from that, so thank you. What was it like playing Campbell in the movie Cleft Lip? If I said that wrong?
No, it's Cleft Lip. It was Cleft Lip, that's correct. So what was it like playing Campbell? Campbell was an interesting role. I really enjoyed the script. I thought it was a really compelling piece of script. You know, the journey that this character went through being involved in chemistry and having a high-flying job in the career that he was in, and then obviously falls in love with this woman that's a lot older than him, which was almost a strange dynamic in itself. You know, what I'm talking here is, you know, a boy that is going out with a woman that's old enough to be his mother.
You mentioned earlier on when you were doing your intro that you've appeared in Casualty. So what was it like playing Neil Nylon Johns in Casualty?
Really interesting role. You know, this was back in the riots, when all the riots were happening in Manchester and London, and I had the opportunity to reenact one of those teenagers throughout those riots. I really enjoyed the filming. The set was great. There's things blowing up, you know, sparks everywhere, blood everywhere. It was a really gritty, in the moment project. So it's not just, it wasn't just a boring, you know, say your line script kind of piece. There was all sorts going on the set, as I just said. So yeah, I found that really exciting, and I met some great characters as well in Cardiff. So I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy Casualty a lot.
Yeah, it does sound really exciting, especially with things blowing up. That sounds like a very exciting atmosphere. Obviously, we spoke about auditioning for Waterloo Road, but what was it like actually being on the show, being in front of the camera and working with the cast?
Amazing. You know, it feels like a bit of a blur, you know, to think that I was on it for 4 years. When I think back at it, it feels like a week. All the days merged together, you know. It was a graft, I'm not joking, but you know, it never felt like a day's work because it was something that I loved. You know, getting up at 6 a.m, not getting home till 7 p.m. Then I had to do schoolwork as well because, you know, I was under 16. I had to make sure that was done. It was a hell of a lot of work. But unless it was, you know, different storylines throughout the day, it all just merged together. It really did. It all feels like a big blur. I could not tell you what happened from day to day in that show.
Well, it sounds like a lovely experience, and obviously the way you ended on the show, you got hit by a truck. So what was it kind of like, your ending? What did you think of that?
I don't know what to think. You know, I think the show knew it was moving up to Scotland before the cast did. We were finishing filming one day and we had all the press outside, and we were thinking, you know, what the hell are all the press doing, you know, outside? So when we went in the next day and we were questioning what the hell's going on, why are all the press outside, we found out that the production decided to move the show to Scotland. And, you know, considering that we were the heart of the show, all the characters, we felt really disappointed and betrayed that we'd not been told that the show was moving up to Scotland. So, you know, as you can imagine, we've all got families, you know, friends, everything we know. It's like your workplace saying that they're going to move you to the other side of the country, you know, and this is on one day. You know, why would a show do that? Why would they take the heart out of the show? I felt it was a very much northern show. And I think most people agree. You know, I'm not just one of the few that has that opinion. And I was on my way to do Casualty, and I was on the train, and I got a call off the art department. It was a lovely woman there called Tina, and she said, "Reece, how the hell are you doing? You know, have you got a recent photo of yourself?" So, you know, on the train, I'm like, "Well, Tina, you know, what the hell do you want a recent photo for? I don't even know if I'm coming back in the show yet." And she went, "Oh!" I'm like, "Tina, you okay, love? Have you died? What's going on?" And she went, "I can't believe it." I said, "I can't believe what, Tina? What the hell are you going on about?" She goes, "We've been filming your funeral for 3 weeks, Reece. You're dead. Denzil's dead." I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm not coming back then." I said, "Well, you know, look, you're lovely, Tina, and no hard feelings, but tell them to go and find their own photo. See you in a bit."
Yeah, well, I definitely get what you mean. So I have a couple more questions for you. My next question is, what has been the best moment in your career, if you can pick?
Best moments in your career, I guess, are just wins. You know, when you go to an audition and you've been up and down London 3-4 times, it's definitely the wins of winning an audition and getting that call off your agent to say you get the part. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you all, but I have to tell you this: you cannot get your hopes up when you go to auditions, because the more that you wish to get the part and the more you dream of the lifestyle it's going to offer you and the money it's going to give you and the life it's going to give you, the more it really hurts when you don't. So in some ways, I found a way to almost, yes, definitely take a moment to be happy and consider the part as a win. But at the same time, I'm almost numb now when I go to auditions. I don't let myself get excited about what could or should happen if I got that role. I just focus on the opportunity at hand. I focus on going in that room, going in that audition, getting that opportunity and thinking, hey, what a great opportunity to go meet that casting director and that producer, and what a lovely piece to put on camera for as 10 minutes or as 5 minutes, even if it was that. And when I get out that audition room, I honestly don't think about it again. I think anything else is a bonus. And it's definitely something, or a piece of value of information I can give you guys, because that's definitely something that can really fuck with you. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, anxiety, depression, it can lead to that if you let it. So when you go into that audition room, just take that as the best thing that's happened, and anything else is a bonus. So I consider, you know, obviously winning auditions wins. You have to celebrate your wins, of course. And, you know, you'd be grateful for the things that you haven't gained. So I'm definitely considering, you know, getting parts, Spiceland, you know, finding out I got the part for that. That's definitely a win. I wouldn't ever say that there's been wins or, that are better than others, because I feel every opportunity is different. So I'm grateful for them all.
Yeah, definitely, and it's great that you're grateful for them all, and thank you for kind of sharing, because you put a bit of advice in there too, which is really cool, so thank you for sharing that. So I have one more question to kind of wrap everything up, and do you have any behind the scenes stories from Waterloo Road, if you can remember any? Because you mentioned it was like a blur.
I think one stood out when I must have been a few weeks in, and I've always, you know, as a kid, I was always a little shit, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't, you know, the quiet kid who, I was always the loudest, I was always the class clown, I was always causing mischief if I was bored. And I think that characteristics of me got me the part of Denzil. You know, in some ways I felt like I was very much playing myself in some respects, just except that I did wash every week, unlike Denzil. But one story that really stuck with me was, we were in the head teacher's office, and we were doing the lines, and it was with Neil Morrissey at the time, and Neil Morrissey couldn't get this line right, and we were doing the scene over and over again, and all he had to say was throw the chair across the classroom. So all he had to say, and he couldn't get it. He just could not get this line. So Reece, being Reece, every time he couldn't get the line, I would be the first to say, throw the chair across the classroom. So you can imagine, right, we've got this whole cast, crew, there must be about 20 plus people, scene after scene after scene. All he needed to do is get this one line, and he's got a 13-year-old lad telling him the line every time he messed it up. So I think he'd obviously got to his limit at one point. I said, I think I know my fucking line now, thank you very much. I said, oh really? I said, because you're the professional, not me. And the whole room just broke down, burst out laughing. I think obviously he was hugely humiliated by that moment. And obviously the cheek of me to come back so snappily as well. I think some people were obviously shocked at my response, but it was in a hilarious moment, and he definitely apologised to me after it, because obviously he reached out, and I think I apologised to him, and we had a laugh, and we got on along ever since. But that's one moment that stuck with me, and I think he gained quite a lot of respect off the crew after that moment.
Wow, yeah, that's such a cool story, and yeah, thank you for sharing that. I had no idea that happened. I'm assuming that was season 4 then, that when that scene. I was just wondering, do you have like a favourite scene you did? Just a random question.
Do I have a favourite scene? Not that one that sticks out, not that one that goes, oh my god, that was definitely my favourite scene. I think the most favourite scenes were the most intense ones, the ones with the gun. I think there was one as well in Waterloo Road where I was doing it with George Sampson. We were having like this drinking lemonade or Coke competition. It was bloody great because we just get to drink Coke all day. Just little things like that, little moments like that we really enjoyed. I always used to enjoy filming as well outside of the school. It was always refreshing to get out into the new location. Hanging off the bridge, that was another great scene. Really enjoyed that, getting strapped up. The whole estate, obviously seeing this new TV production going to their estate and seeing this kid hanging off a bridge, they must have thought, what the hell's going on? But those type of moments that will always stick with me, and I did really enjoy them.
Yeah, definitely, and they sound like super cool experiences. So we have came to the end of the interview now, and it's been great finding out more about yourself, your career, and your story. So thank you so much for coming, Reece.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome, and also thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye, guys!